Hey folks, so if you're watching this, I am going to be posting a delve video on my second channel later, which just goes into all of the important details about delves. You may be coming from this video, because what I plan on doing is effectively using footage from this recording and referencing this recording in that video. Oh, I started recording, my cat left the room. Okay, unlucky. But anyways, the entire reason why I'm making this third channel video is because I normally do a bunch of offline testing, and then, I kind of show my findings in a very summarized video and stuff like that. But when I was planning this delve video, there's really one very, very clear question that comes to the forefront whenever I talk to anybody. My friends, guildmates, former guildmates who, I'm still friends with, and I'm like, hey, what do people in your guild have concerns about? Like, what are they asking about delves? And just seeing what, my viewers have expressed concerns about in, stream chats, etc. The thing that people keep asking is, how long does it take to get to level 8? And then how long is it going to take me to do all of my Bountiful Delves? Now, there's a lot of other questions besides that, and I'm going to try and cover all of those in my video, so if you're watching this video right after it's posted, then that stuff will be covered later. Don't worry, that should be in a few hours after the time that this is posted. I'm working on it as we speak, but I wanted to get this footage, and I'm like, hey, you know what? If I'm gonna record this, instead of just, putting on Hulu and stuff and grinding it out while I'm doing that, why don't I just take the entire recording of myself going up to level 8? Now, I will note, I do already have level 8 unlocked because I've done a bunch of testing already, but we're going to simulate the process. So I'm going to go from tier 4 to tier 5 to tier 6 to tier 7, then tier 8, and we're going to effectively simulate what is it going to be like the moment that servers go up and you do your delves. You technically won't be immediately doing delves. It'll be one of the first things you do, but not the moment servers go up, but you get the drift. It's one of the first things you'll do. And the process of getting there and not making any mistakes is important. There are actually ways that you can fuck this up, and I want to go over that a little bit beforehand. Real quick, I will note, you might be confused because a lot of people have been saying it takes 5 runs. It's actually 4, because if you have tier 3, or if you've done tier 3 on live servers, I can go into Delves, War Within, and you can see that, where's the endgame achievement? I think it must be a breakdown here. War Within Delves Endgame. Most people should have this achievement. You reach level 80, you do the main story, and then you complete a level 3 delve. And obviously I have extra ones on here, but if you check this achievement, the wording, it unlocks tier 4 delves on live servers. Now, tier 4 delves on live servers are disabled, but the moment the servers go up on Tuesday, or I guess Wednesday if you're European, tier 4 will be unlocked. You will be able to jump straight into this. You will not have to redo tier 3. So you're going to do one run of tier 4, you're going to unlock tier 5. You're going to do one run of tier 5, unlock tier 6, etc., etc. Then you're going to get up to tier 8. Tier 8 is when you want to start doing the Bountiful Delves. So there are these things out here. This one, Mycomancer, Cavern. It rotates, by the way, so the Bountiful Delves that you will see on Tuesday or whenever servers go up for you is not the same that you'll be seeing here. It's going to be a different one. Almost certainly will not be this, with the exception of Waterworks. There's only 2 active delves in the Ringing Deeps, so right now, today, at the time of recording, it's technically early morning Monday, but it's within the daily reset of Saturday. Waterworks is up. Monday reset, it's going to switch to Dread Pit. Tuesday reset, it's going to be Waterworks again. So this is the only one that I know for sure will be active as a Bountiful Delve on Tuesday. And that is why I've chosen to do Dread Pit, because there's a lot of different delves that you could run. It cannot be anything that is bountiful. So that rules that out, because the fastest possible way to do this is Takrathon Abyss with the setup that requires you to break boxes of pheromones. That is the single fastest delve. I'm pretty sure I will mention, well, no, I am 100% certain I will mention that in my video that I'll be making later today. So if you're coming from there, you've already heard that. You've seen that it can take me only 2 minutes for runs consistently. And the best part about this one is you only have to interact with certain objects, which means that even on higher levels, the time to clear it is very consistent. And that is very important, because if you're doing a delve that is fast in a vacuum, but requires you to kill a bunch of mobs, well, that kind of sucks. Because then as you get to those higher levels, the time to actually kill those mobs is going to increase dramatically. So actually clearing that out will start to take a lot longer. Takrathon Abyss is very consistent. The only real game changer is how long it takes you to kill the final boss. So it can take up to like 2 minutes 45 at the slowest, if you know what you're doing. But you don't have to kill any of the other mobs, so that makes it really fast. However, I am not doing Takrathon because right now, it's not the one at the time of recording that I think is the fastest. It is the mech suit one. Now, out of the 3 in Takrathon, I actually think the mech suit is also pretty good. I've seen some people saying it's slow. Those people don't know what they're talking about. You click 5 objects, you click a mech suit, you fight waves of predetermined enemies in a vehicle that scales with the delve level, so it doesn't get any harder depending on the level of the delve. So it's not hard at all. It takes like 2 minutes longer than the 2-minute Takrathon setup, but that's still around 4 minutes, and 4 minutes is about the speed of all of the other fast delves. So even the slower of the Takrathon setups is still as good as a lot of the fastest setups in other delves. It just so happens the Pheromones one is just so far ahead of everything else. The final Takrathon setup, the Rescuing Niffin, is pretty bad. Unfortunately, that is most likely what we are going to have on Tuesday, because right now it's the mech suit. Yesterday was the Niffin. That means Pheromones are most likely going to be up on Monday, and that means that it's likely going to be Niffin again on Tuesday, which is the slowest, and that one does kind of suck. So, yeah, that means Takrathon will likely not be a viable option. Also, we don't necessarily know if it's going to be bountiful. I don't know if it's going to switch to be bountiful on Monday, or if it's going to be Spiral, and then Takrathon is the bountiful one on Tuesday, because, and this will be covered in my video, but I'll say it again here, if you do a bountiful delve, even if you do not spend your key, the delve will no longer be bountiful. So, if you go in here, you full clear it, you spend your keys, or you don't spend your keys, I mean, and you exit, the delve switches off. Even if you go back in without spending a single key to that same delve, the chest will no longer be there at the end. So, you cannot use the bountiful delve to get levels 4, 5, 6, 7 completed before you reach tier 8. You cannot do that. It will brick your runs for the week, or at least one of your 4. And that is a single piece of 603 champion gear that you will not have access to. That, for day 1 gearing, is like a massive deal. You do not want to fuck that up. So, that means that there is no way to guarantee what the fastest way to level up delves is. Because if the fastest way to level up delves, Takrathon Pheromones, was just, yeah, do this. Easy. That's a 2-minute guide. Not even. I'm just like, hey, go do this delve. Bam, done. But not only is that on a rotation where it may not be the active version of Takrathon, but it could be the active version, but Takrathon's the bountiful delve, and then we're fucked anyway. So therein lies the problem, which is why you need to have multiple different backups, which is why I'm going to give you a lot of alternatives in my video, and it's why I'm doing Dread Pit. Because Dread Pit, again, I know for a fact will not be bountiful on Tuesday because it's Waterworks now. Monday it's going to switch to Dread Pit. Tuesday it's going to switch back to Waterworks. This will 100% be open. Now, as for which one is available, I don't know exactly. It's not going to be this one because there's 3 different in total. So the one that you're going to get on Tuesday will either be Smashing Skarden or Kobold Rescue. However, Dread Pit is very consistent. It may not be as fast as Takrathon, but all 3 versions of Dread Pit are pretty good. I would say that the one I'm about to do, which is the Gem Collection, is about as fast as Smashing Skarden, and the Kobold Rescue is only marginally behind. But they are all fast, and more importantly, they're all relatively easy to do. They either don't require combat, or, well, they all require some amount of combat, but most of them allow you to skip extensive periods of combat, and the combat that you actually have to do is very limited. You only have to kill 1 or 2 mobs, and if you die, that's fine. You can pull halfway across the delve, kill the mobs you need, jump off a cliff, reset at the checkpoint. All the mobs that you pulled will snap back to their original locations. You skip the first half. That's why Takrathon is so good. So Dread Pit lets you do that on all of them. That makes it a lot more consistent. So that's why I'm going to do it here. Waterworks is an interesting one because 2 out of 3 of the Waterworks setups, one of them's really bad, but the one where you collect gears and the one where you rescue 5 earthen miners, both of those, in theory, pretty fast. However, they require, I don't necessarily want to say they require stealth. Stealth makes them a lot easier because once you get the objectives, you can just stealth to skip combat, which is partially why I'm playing Druid here. Druid with Shadow Meld to drop combat is, well, Night Elf with Shadow Meld is really good, and then Druid to have Stealth on top of that just makes it a lot more flexible. So I would say most likely Night Elf Druid is going to be the fastest for here. I have a Night Elf Druid, so I'm using that for testing. Also for reference, I have 582 item level. This is pretty bog standard. I have some rep items. The only thing that I think most people probably won't have here is the 597 piece from rep, but I also haven't upgraded any of my gear pieces. I'm using relatively standard stuff, so I don't think this character is uber geared. This is roughly what I think most of you are going to be going in with. I'm going to talk a little bit about Bran in a second, and the optimal talents and stuff, and what you should be playing, which, I mean, that one's simple. Play something that's tanky, ideally a tank. Obviously, if you don't have a tank spec, that's a different story. Play something that can live. However, the entire reason why, despite being relatively fast, I won't really recommend Waterworks, I will probably give a disclaimer in the video, but I don't think I'm going to talk about it extensively, is because the final boss of Waterworks does massive, unavoidable damage. It's pretty brutal. And obviously, you could do this in a group, and if you are in a 5-man group with a tank, with a healer, you're probably going to be able to go through it, like, as long as people in your group actually know what they're doing. But it's still extremely difficult, and it's not consistent unless you have a group with you, and you have somebody to heal through that. That's definitely one of the biggest issues with some delves. Some of them, I'm going to try to not go on a rant, but the design philosophy of a lot of them are completely fucked. Some of them have completely avoidable damage. Yet another reason why basically every single version of Talkrathon is at least pretty good, and why the two fast versions are especially good, is the final boss, Undersea Abomination, like, does fucking nothing. It does an interruptible frontal cone that, again, you can just immediately kick, and then it'll sit there and summon a bunch of mushrooms, and it doesn't even attack you in between its casts. So all you need to do is dodge the mushrooms, interrupt the boss, and it does nothing. It doesn't matter how high the scaling is, it's a super weak boss. And then there are other ones that just kick your fucking teeth in, like Waterworks, and I've seen at least 1 or 2 people saying Kriegval's Rest, which, I mean, I think that's just an insane recommendation. This is not, it's not the slowest delve, but it's also not a fast delve by any stretch of the imagination. But the fact that people even recommended it when the final boss in high levels will fucking curb stop you, this thing is one of the hardest hitting final bosses. Like, that's wild. Some other ones like Fungal Folly, this boss has mostly avoidable stuff, so even though the delves themselves are pretty yucky in terms of clear time, it's not terrible. There's one variant that's really bad and one variant that's, like, solid. At the very least, the final boss makes it better. The trash in here is a fucking nightmare, though, so for that reason, I can't really recommend it at all. Earthcrawl Mines has an okay final boss. The Earthen Miners one is passable, the one that you do during the campaign, but even then, it's not, like, the fastest, and you still need to kill a lot of mobs, so it's like, eh. And what are some others? I guess, you know, if you're watching this video, you already know what you're getting into, so I might as well just pack it with, like, extra information. That's kind of what you're probably here for. Mycomancer Cavern fucking sucks. This is, in my opinion, the slowest delve. This one, or some of the stories in Underkeep, are, I believe, the slowest, but consistently, this is probably the worst delve, because all 3 are pretty slow. Some are obviously faster than others. The final boss isn't the hardest hitting one, so that's maybe some slight points in its favor if it wasn't just a massive slog. But yeah, I don't really like this one. Skittering Breach, I don't think the final bosses are particularly scary. Not that I can recall. I mean, I did one earlier that I know was pretty easy. A lot of avoidable damage. I think there's some interrupts that probably hit hard if you don't kick them, so, you know, make sure you kick. The one where you have to attack the, like, final boss in 3 different locations is pretty good. The one where you interrupt the ritualists is pretty good, so I considered doing Skittering Breach for this. The only reason I didn't is because I can't guarantee that it's going to be active as the Bountiful Delve. This one I know will at least be a potentially viable simulation for Tuesday. That's why I picked Dread Pit again. On the note of Dread Pit, the final boss is, by and large, avoidable damage. All of the scary stuff is avoidable. It can kill you if you're not careful. It's not, like, completely free like Talkrathon, but it is avoidable. It's not like Waterworks where you will just die. Sinkhole is a bit of an interesting one. Sinkhole has a few different final boss variations. Like, the final boss of Dread Pit is the same for all three. Same with a bunch of them. Final boss of Mycomancer is the same for all three. But then, like, Skittering Breach has 2 different final boss variations. Nightfall has... I think Nightfall only has 2 final boss variations. I could be wrong in that, though. I definitely know it has 2. It might have a different one for each. Spiral Weave has at least 2 different variations. Underkeep has... Underkeep is weird. There's a way to end it peacefully, kind of. You don't even need to fight a final boss. So it's technically, there's 3 different variations that require you to fight a final boss in Underkeep, and then one of them, you don't even fight a boss, you just kill the rampaging monstrosities, which that one is really bad. Creek Falls Rest, you fight the same boss every time. Waterworks, you fight the same final boss every time. Earthcrawl Mines, you fight the same final boss every time. Fungal Folly, you fight the same final boss every time. So it is kind of weird how some of them have variations, other ones depending on the ending thing. And that's kind of the problem because, like, Nightfall Sanctum is a really good example. I don't think this is one of the faster delves anyway. It's not, like, as bad as Mycomancer Cavern, but there is one final boss, the one that you get in, I think, 2 out of 3 of them. At least I know it's in one. I think it's in the second one, too. That has mostly avoidable damage. There's, like, an interrupt, and then it's a bunch of swirlies and circles that you need to dodge. And then the other one, which unfortunately is technically speaking the fastest, not by much, but it is the fastest, requires you to fight, like, a council at the end. It's a different fight. And that council is kind of rough if you're not prepared for it. It has a lot of unavoidable damage. There's multiple different things you need to kick. There's, like, a dedicated caster mob. There's one that shields. It's not hard on, like, level 3, but on level 8, for tanks, you'd probably be fine. Just, like, I managed to do level 8 Waterworks on my 585 Brewmaster Monk, but it was really, really tough. But that is one of those fights that just has tons of unavoidable damage. It's going to curb stomp you. I touched upon Sinkhole and then moved away. This one, honestly, not bad. There is one that is notably better than the others. It's specifically the one with a different final boss, the one where you have to kill Cragpie at the end as the final boss. That one is actually kind of fast, depending on the class, because if you have any way to cross a large gap, you can quickly get all of the treasures you need at the entrance, and then slow fall, roll, demon hunter dash. There's a bunch of different things you could do. Priest levitate to cross over the big gap, basically skip right to the end. You get just enough kill percent to complete one of the objectives, and then the final boss is really easy. It's mostly avoidable. The other Sinkhole final bosses aren't bad. I would consider Sinkhole definitely top 5. It's probably what I'm going to recommend. There's just a lot of really nasty trash in this one that I could see being a big pain on higher levels, and some of them take a while to get through depending on the variation, so it's a little bit hit or miss. So I guess, in summary, Talkrathon is the best consistently. I would say Dread Pit is probably my second pick. This one is pretty consistently good. Then I would say it's probably a toss-up between Sinkhole or Skittering Breach. Skittering Breach pulling ahead maybe a little bit. I think I prefer that one Cragpie Sinkhole variation, but that also requires you to be able to do the skip, and that's only a 1 out of 3, but it's still not bad even on the other 2. And then it's very difficult to say between the others. There's like one good story on the others that maybe compares to the quality on average of the other delves, but then they have really bad ones holding them back. Like, I would maybe say Waterworks, if you can deal with the final boss, is the 5th one, but because that final boss is so brutal, it's just so hard to give that as a recommendation. Nightfall Sanctum, same deal. There's, like, variations that are fast, but hard final boss. Underkeep has, like, one fast variation, but again, there's 4 variations for Underkeep, up from 3 from the others. This one is, like, not as bad as Mycomancer Cavern, but it's kind of slow. Earthcrawl, again, there's one really bad variation. At least the final boss is the same. Fungal Folly, yeah, one bad variation. Kriegvalls is, like, probably second worst next to Mycomancer. So I'm trying to envision a scenario where all of the delves are terrible. Obviously, we can say with relative confidence that Dread Pit is not going to be the bountiful one, so this should be the safe pick, which is why I'm going to recommend it. However, if, let's say, I don't know how it's going to work for Europeans, but let's say for Europeans, Dread Pit is the bountiful delve, and you're left with Waterworks Skittering Breach, Sinkhole, and Takrathon. Well, obviously, Takrathon Pheromones, that's first. I would say Takrathon Mech Suit, that's second. Now, if it's the Niffin one, or if this one is Bountiful, so it's ruled out, then I would say do Hollow Fall. Now, obviously, both of these cannot be empowered at the same time, so I would say it's one of these two. If it is the defeat the Ritualists or attack the Speaker, you have to attack him, he summons waves to defend himself, you attack him again, and then you get kill percent as you run to him at the end. It's relatively fast, though it does require killing a lot of mobs. Those two are decently fast. The third one isn't bad, but it does require you to spend a lot of time. It takes a lot longer, but it's not terrible. So I would say Skittering Breach is at least a safe pick if the other two, Dread Pit and Takrathon, don't work out. If Sinkhole has the Cragpie one, do that one. If Sinkhole has the other two, do Skittering Breach. And then obviously, I guess if, let's say, Skittering Breach is the Bountiful Delve, and it's not Cragpie for Sinkhole, Takrathon is the Bountiful Delve, and Dread Pit is the Bountiful Delve. That is effectively the worst case scenario, I would say. In that case, you probably can't really go wrong with either a different variation of Sinkhole. In a full group, take your chances with Waterworks, because it could at least be fast if you have the heals for the final boss. And honestly, Underkeep is not terrible depending on the variation, so if you get a good variation, you can try that. Earthcrawl Mines and Fungal Folly, one of the two. If you really don't feel like taking your chances with the other ones, are good backups. I think that is probably a good game plan. I think that covers every eventuality. But the odds of all of that happening, again, it's pretty low. The stars would need to kind of align to completely shaft European players there. I think North America is pretty safe with Dread Pit regardless. So, talked for a while, but that's kind of the entire point. This is basically any fluff information that I do not include in my my actual video. I want to make sure I include here. I'm not going to actually start the timer, because I'm going to first show you brand stuff. So I should note that this is not my retail brand. This is obviously being recorded on the beta. In case it wasn't obvious, that's how I'm able to showcase this stuff early. And brand is capped at level 15 on live servers, so you should get brand to 15 now. Duh, that's something you can do right now, which will help you next week. But my brand progress doesn't carry over. I do have, I think, all of the relics, at the very least. In my last test, I got that. So early on, you're going to want to switch around your relics. And I should note that I will, again, probably mention this in my video. You can get upgrades for this if you sack keys on your alts. I actually have an uncommon Streamline relic on live servers. So that's going to make things pretty nice on launch day. For the very low-level ones, it's not a lot, but none of these relics are super important. It's like, basically, this will either give you increased movement speed by 5%, which, like, who really cares? And also, you're not guaranteed, because this could also give you the other one. And getting maximum health, damage and healing 3%. These are very, very minor bonuses. So I would just rather take the out-of-combat movement. The only downside to Streamline Relic is if you are not a druid and you're not able to drop combat consistently and like go into stealth for certain sections, you're going to get a little bit less value, but you're still going to be out of combat running for extended periods in most delves. Obviously, Takrathon, you're just kind of blitzing the pheromones. It helps there. The movement speed drops out of combat, but you still get the 5% haste buff, which, you know, for a little bit, it's not bad. But I would say, actually, as you get to the later Takrathon ones, where they start to really hurt, switch to Lifeless Necrotic Idol, because you're eventually going to die on tier 8 while doing the pheromones, and you can do this. This also works for Dread Pit. I'm going to play it by ear if I reach a level where I feel like I'm getting my teeth kicked in. I haven't tried delves on my druid. All my tests so far have been on my monk, so I'm not sure how hard this is going to hit. But if I get to that point where even doing this initial segment with the gems, because what you can see here is you talk to her, and then you'll suck up the gems, and that's just a run past everything. So I'm going to try to do all that Shadow Meld drop combat. And like I said, for you guys, your goal is effectively There is a meeting stone right around here. You want to run around here, pick up all of the gems, and then make it to the meeting stone, like get to this checkpoint, hit the checkpoint, die, respawn here, and then you can do the rest of the delve in that area. So you skip a lot of this intro fighting, which especially on the higher levels is going to save you a lot of time as mobs take longer to die. But if you don't have like a tank spec, or you're really bad at surviving, or you don't have stealth or something like that, Lifeless Necrotic Idol will at least buy you a few extra seconds. It's a free cheat death, so this one can be pretty good just for that purpose. It's useless for, like, standard clearing of delves. And then for actual combat, if you don't need, like, if you're not speedrunning this stuff, and you're in a party for level 8 delves, I would say either Time Lost, or in that case, Amorphous can be pretty good. You know, you're actually getting a reasonable bonus, 3% damage. I do think mostly, if you can play around it, Time Lost Relic is pretty good. This might be a little bit tricky as a solo player, because, as we'll discuss, actually surviving some of those pulls, if you don't have a pocket healer, is not feasible. So you can't just sit here in a big, like, effectively mini Bloodlust that Bran pops, and he does this fairly consistently. So you kind of need to kite, and in that case, Amorphous Relic probably gives you more actual power for those type of situations. But if you're in a group of 5, I would say getting a mini Bloodlust like every other pack is pretty nuts. I would recommend this one. Combat Curio is a lot easier. There's really only 2 that you need to worry about. Porcelain Arrowhead early on. Bran's damage is not going to scale super well at the low levels. It scales up as the delve increases. So early on, you're going to be pulling most of the weight, and assuming your damage isn't shit, you know, I'm not judging, but I'm assuming if you're trying to optimize delves, you're probably decently good at the game, so you probably know how to press your buttons. In that case, getting additional 20% crit chance is pretty good. So I would say that this one, damage-wise, is going to be your best. However, on higher levels, Unbreakable Iron Idol is fucking nuts. This is really, 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 really good. It's kind of like a cheat death, because the moment you drop low, it just taunts all the mobs, and then it gives you a chance to start kiting, so Bran can start killing everything. This is invaluable. It has saved my life so many times. So early on, I'm going to be running Porcelain Arrowhead Idol, and then as I get to the later levels, pretty much the moment I would switch to something like Lifeless Necrotic Relic, I would also switch to Unbreakable Iron Idol, because that's kind of one mini cheat death and one actual cheat death, and it just buys you more time to book it to the end. But yeah, for endgame content, this one's, like, fine. I would say the only issue with this is you have to guide his shot, right? So, like, let's just demonstrate how this works. Let's pull a few mobs. Let's proc it. And just see. Okay, so that did... Yeah, I mean, that does a lot of damage, but you need to be, like, aiming Bran to actually get it to work. So it seems good, but again, you're kind of relying on some of the higher levels, either on letting Bran kill it for you, or, kind of trying to kite the mobs and maybe kill it if you're ranged. You can do it on your own, and in that case, you're not going to be able to reliably aim Bran's shot, so I still think Iron Idol is fine. It's just going to be better. One thing I will warn against is I've seen some people saying, why don't I take Rage-Filled Idol? Do not do this. While Bran does do a lot of damage, he does damage without Rage-Filled Idol. The problem with this is, while it will probably make him do more damage, I haven't really tested it enough at level 8 delves to see. What I can tell you is that this is really the only way to let Bran die. A lot of people tested delves early on before they buffed Bran, and they were like, wow, Bran just kind of falls over dead half the time. I can assure you, Bran has been buffed. He is basically invincible. He cannot die. So he will sit there and just face tank shit tons of mobs, and he will never fucking die. He will kill everything if you give him enough time. This means that you don't have enough time. Bran will just die. He will rot out. This will cause him to die. So if they eventually make Bran mortal and bring it back to a situation where you have to pocket heal him again, then maybe this now has a use case of, well, you can't just let Bran face tank anyway, so it's better to kind of kite a little bit, get threat, kite, and then throw emergency heals on Bran as he kills things. But right now, this is just a really bad idol to take. It will just cause him to die, and it will give you very little in return. Just take the Iron Idol. It's going to save you a lot of time. I should also note Brute Force Idol This has actually killed me a few times, because sometimes if Bran is just right below you and you don't realize, when this activates, if you're near him, he'll immediately pick you up and throw you at the enemies. And I have, on multiple occasions, I haven't used this since the beta. Maybe they changed it, but there's a reason I haven't used it since the beta, because when I tried this in the beta, 3 delves in a row, Bran picked me up and chucked me into like an AoE circle that one-shot me. And I was like, all right, fuck this thing. I'm not using this again. It's really, really, really spooky. So there's a lot. Like the other ones here, I mean, they're not even worth talking about. This is bad. This is bad. This one is just worthless. It doesn't really give you anything notable. And also you only get it after you get Bran to dig something up, and getting an extra steel trap, whoop-de-doo. I mean, it's just worthless. There is a decent amount of flexibility here. This one, I would say it is really just a choice between these two, but I wanted to talk about Idol of Final Will and Rage-Filled Idol, at least because I've seen some people talking about them. The others are just never a consideration. I wanted to hop in here just to demonstrate that. Because obviously on live servers, my Bran would already have all of its stuff selected, so that wouldn't matter. So let me actually pick up the stuff that I want. So I want, for the early delves, this and Streamlined Relic. So we'll just equip him with that, and then we'll head out of here. And I guess just to really quickly note, obviously I'm playing Guardian for this, and you can see... Actually, you know what? One thing before we start, something that I never actually tested, because this is the first time I've really done this on a druid. This delve, definitely the first time I've done this on a druid. Can you vacuum the gems in stealth? If so, that would be kind of busted. Where's my prowl? There's my prowl. So, okay, those guys have true sight. So I have the magnet. Well, there's a limited time. Here, let's try this again. So if I do magnet, then prowl, then dash. No, that seems to put you in combat. Okay, yeah. Then there's honestly no real point even trying to do the stealth thing. I just had the thought real quick of like, obviously stealth is just really handy for a lot of the stuff in general. But I was like, wait, can I just like vacuum up all the gems in stealth and never even have to leave combat? That would be kind of sick. Nope. Also, one thing... While I'm at it, actually, I probably should have done that there, but I'm so used to doing it the other way. In fact, I don't know why I have that there. I'm actually just going to let's put Restore, Remove Corruption on CH. We're going to go in here, and something that I've been meaning to do, I only just recently found out about it. So, when you're ready to leave a delve, you can just do this, and it teleports you out. And that's actually a pretty nice time save. So I need to get into the habit of doing that. It just boots you back to the entrance portal. Really, really handy time save for 2 reasons. One, it takes you straight to the entrance here, so you don't need to run... Well, you don't need to run all the way to the exit, but also, when you exit the delve, normally, by talking to the wind wall, you're over here, and then you have to run back here. By leaving the delve, not only do you not need to exit normally, but it kicks you right back here, and then you can enter right back again. So that is... really handy. Let me just respond. One of my guildies said, I'll be sending you some treatises. Public orders should work. Yeah, but also my monk is effectively MIA until Tuesday. I have the Dark Moon carousel buff on it, so I can't log in until reset to keep the XP bonus. I think Skelly can also do treatises, worst case scenario. So on that note, you might notice that my druid has this. Obviously, this is my druid copied over to the beta, so I don't care that this is ticking down. But on live servers, my druid still has the full 60-minute Darkmoon Fair buff. And whenever I do stuff on my druid, I'm probably going to do that. I should note that while I am testing this on my druid, and this probably is the fastest race class combo for solo runs, if I do it in a 5-man group, then this doesn't really matter because your group mates can't really skip it. One thing that honestly, I kind of wish I had tested that before doing this. I just kind of, on a whim, decided, hey, I'll actually do narration and recording for this one. I still need to test whether your death counter increases the more people you get, because the Takrathon death skip in particular, you have 5 deaths available to you, so done solo, it's like very easy. You could fuck up multiple times and still be able to complete the delve. I should note, if you use up all of your deaths inside of a Bountiful Delve at tier 8, leave and then restart it. Do not kill the final boss once you get, like, the end bonuses, because that will flag the Bountiful Delve as complete, but it will not spawn the chest, and then you will lose out on one of yours. So if you fail the delve, just leave midway through and restart it from the beginning. You can do that. I don't know if I'm going to mention that in my video. That's such a niche, like, edge case for people who fuck up that hard. Yeah, it kind of... You would almost assume that that's how it works just by getting all of the other information about, like, you know, you fail a Bountiful Delve, the chest disappears. You complete a Bountiful Delve without spending your key, it still gets unflagged. I will mention both of those things. I don't know if I'll go into detail and, like, hey, if this happens, do exactly these steps, because at a certain point, there's only so many things that you can cover in a super tightly edited video, and if you start getting into niche tips that only benefit, like, 5 or 1% of the people watching, in that case, that's not going to be a very, well, widespread concern, then it just kind of pads out the video, and that's why I'm doing this. This is going to be a bunch of extra fluff information for people who really want it. Alright. With all that said, I think we can get in. I can quickly show my talents again. Just, you know, standard Moonbear stuff. There's, I mean, this technically isn't like the super optimal rating or dungeon Moonbear. This is kind of like hybrid Moonbear. I have all the important stuff here, but I like this for world content and stuff. Works well for me, rather flexible. Has some nice things like, I don't really think you're gonna need this for rating, but dropping some other things that maybe give you a slight damage or survivability bonus to get 15% move speed, especially for something like this, is kind of good. So let's toss up Mark in the Wild. Oh, and just to be clear, I guess, you know, this will become readily apparent, but I'm going to be showcasing the process not just of getting all of the delves up to 8, I'm going to be doing all 4 of these Bountiful Delves. Completely solo. Now, this will be a bit of variation, because like Mycomancer Cavern, I'm going to end up doing one that's really slow. A bunch of these are actually among the slower ones. Underkeep is rather slow, too. So some of the delves I'm going to do here are not the fastest. Waterworks is going to be spicy. I actually think I'm going to leave that till last. I'll try to scoop up a few minor gear upgrades before I head into that, if I get something good from the other Bountiful Delves. But, alright, I'll do this, and then right after I hit enter, I'll start the timer. And there we go, right as the delve loads in. Alright, let's do this, and then we're just running. So I want to get all the gems. Can do all this while running. This is one of the reasons why I really like this Dread Pit variation. It's a little bit awkward sometimes. Again, it's one of the reasons why Druid is really nice for this. You can clear all the slows. And I should note, you also don't need to do it this way. This delve is also perfectly fine if you just kill all the mobs as intended and take it pack by pack. These delve speedrun strats are kind of aimed at, I am trying to blitz it with rather good gear. Did it just eat my trinket and not give me anything? I think that is what happened. Yeah, this is a little bit awkward. Alright. And the other issue with this one is you do need to fight some mobs. You can avoid a lot of combat. Let's try not to get in combat with that elite. Let's get both gem hoarders. Okay, 2 for 1. I'm going to make sure I get the checkpoint. You gotta kill these two anyway, so I'm just trying to keep them here. If I pull more, then I may be in danger of dying, which, again, would not be the end of the world. And in fact, actually here, we're gonna Shadow Melt. And I think Obran is still in combat. So... yeah, because these guys have True Sight, that actually won't work for this one. Works for Takrathon, but not here. Awkward. That's fine. If anything, that makes it a little bit more realistic for non-Night Elf Druids. Just means I need to do it the old-fashioned way. And, like, I could also just die. Yeah, oh my god, my Ravenous Honey Buzzer 2 times just has not worked. I think it's... it did trigger. So it looked like the animation didn't go off. It must have just done damage in place and not displayed. We can ignore all of these other mobs, so I'm mostly just going pure single target. Oh my god! Okay, I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm just not even going to try to fight it. What even hit me there? Yeah, Shadow Bolts, Shadows of... just multiple casts went off. This is why normally I would say... just die there. Because I had multiple mobs trailing me. I just wanted to see if I could do it. We're still fine. This is still good. We're not going to hit the Takrathon times, but that's... that is the sacrifice that you make. And if you are in a 5-man group, I mean, you could just kill all of those. It's just a little bit challenging while chain pulling. And we can stealth to that. Right. Yeah, so this is kind of what I'm talking about, Burrowing Tremors. If you're not careful, and you get hit by this, like if you stand too close to him, you will die. It does crazy damage. Stinging Swarm. This one does some unavoidable damage, but this is his only thing. So as long as you have, like, some defensive CDs, you should be fine. It's not completely unavoidable. Yeah, all my Ravenous Honey Buzzer is just broken. Did that at least... I don't actually think it did damage. I actually might need to swap trinkets here. I don't know why my trinket is just completely breaking. You also technically, I think, could leave the delve here and still get credit. And then here we can leave delve and just get kicked back. I guess I'm just going to switch to Darkmoon Deck Symbiosis. That's unfortunate. It is a good trinket. I don't know why, for whatever reason, today it's deciding it's just not going to work. Alright, go to tier 5. Just gonna throw a regrowth on myself. I think I can probably not get that one off in the corner. Just do a renewal. Okay. And then there's one more cluster of gems up ahead. Oh my god, I'm one off. Okay, okay. Oh, I'm taking a lot of damage. Fortunately, we need to wait for the NPC to get here. So, sometimes you might actually need to die here, restart, talk to the NPC, and then just run to the checkpoint. But that's not a big loss at the end of the day. Okay, the webs are cleared. Just pick that. I'm gonna make sure the checkpoint is unlocked. And I have to kill these gem hoarders. Health pod here. This one is a little bit spooky. I think I should be good at survival instincts here. Okay. Should be breaking these webs as we go. And as we get to higher levels, Brand's damage will increase, so he'll start to help me out a little bit more. And now, like I said before, I'm just going to die, because we got the checkpoint. Holy Spirit. Alright. And now... I can make that jump. Nice. So it's in my best interest to kill all these mobs. Yeah, I'll pull this because definitely going to get pulled either way. Yeah, and then Bran executes. Let's do a little regrowth. And then run to the end. Make sure I'm out of range. I'm trying to be a little bit ballsy here and play like just on the ends. Whether you want to do that or just completely kite, that's kind of up to you. I guess Iron doesn't really matter here. It's going to do... I would imagine this is nature damage. That's going to kind of hurt. While I'm at it, I didn't mention this before. Healer Brand is completely worthless. You should never play Healer Brand. He's just like really buggy half the time, extremely undertuned. And Damage Brand is just far superior for all realistic attempts at this. Okay. Heal myself up. Again, just doing this. You should note, by the way, that the only reason I'm getting so many sparks is because on beta, obviously, beta counts as if the season has been running for multiple months, because that's how long that beta has been accessible. So that's why I'm getting so many sparks. You're not going to normally get that on live servers. It's just, that's the interaction. All right, tier 6. So overall, what is this? Like, on average, 4.5 minutes per run. Happy with that, honestly. I'd say 4 minutes is like a pretty average time. And a lot of the times that I've recorded, I've been with my Brewmaster, which, again, I'm a lot more comfortable playing. I'm kind of doing this as like a mini challenge just to see if the stealth thing helps, which so far, I'd say it has. But also because I think it'll be interesting to play with something that isn't my main, that I'm not, like, explicitly comfortable with, and have tested multiple times, so it's maybe a little bit more accurate. I'm not going to always hit the right buttons. I'm going to struggle a little bit more than, you know, maybe the average player would. I think that's maybe good. Okay, here. I'm just going to run. I'm going to hit the checkpoint. And because I have so many mobs chasing me, this time I'm actually going to die early. We got the checkpoint. Die. Release Spirit. Spawned in webs. It's annoying, but we're fine. Okay, let's do this, and then I'm going to... I need to pull the Gem Hoarder over here. So, just tap it. Oh, Bran already fucking killed this thing. Hey, while I wait for Bran to finish that off, can I get this treasure for, like, a little power-up? Bran's gonna do most of the damage anyway, so this could give me, like, a big survivability buff or something like that. Ow. Okay, this one's kind of crappy. I guess the double jump could make it easier to do the skip across the gap. Now you can see Bran's damage not bad, and it's going to get a lot better as the delve level goes up. All right. I also think the next delve level, definitely when I should start switching to cheat death stuff. It's going to be a lot more consistent. Honestly, I probably should have switched for this one. I think in hindsight, maybe that would have been a good idea. I didn't realize I was going to get hit quite as hard as I did. But it worked out. But next one actually might be a little bit spooky. Let's kill these guys. Summoned a extra little guy. It's not good. Alright, Stamp Roar. You also could pick up those little curios in the grounds, or curiosities, whatever they're called. They give you extra brand XP, so if you are in the process of leveling up your brand, which, obviously, you know, brand levels for me during this run aren't going to matter a lot. I think on live servers, I probably will actually go out of my way to grab those, but it's not going to make a huge difference. And this way I can show you that even without a super over-leveled brand, it's fine. One of the other things that I'm a little bit concerned about is if I do pick up a lot of those, and my brand ends up getting, like, super-duper over-leveled, then people will be like, ah, the only reason that you had such an easy time is because your brand was super high level. So if my brand isn't even the max achievable level on retail right now, then that kind of takes that argument away. And see there, the Stinging Swarm actually is starting to hit a little bit harder. And you might be like, wow, that seems a little bit spooky. Didn't you say a lot of them have unavoidable damage? And that's bad. The thing is, the Waterworks one has 3 different unavoidable damage mechanics. This one only has 1 unavoidable damage mechanic. I am very scared at whether I can even do the Waterworks one, though. I wonder if I can LOS the Waterworks damage. Because that one actually really fucked me up on my brew. So if I'm struggling on Bear a little bit, I mean, I'm probably fine, but I might need to actually play, like, really fucking well for that. I'm going to do the other ones first, though. Alright, tier 7. So this is the last run of Dread Pit. We're going to quickly switch out. I'm going to take Unbreakable Iron Idol, and I'm going to take Lifeless Necrotic Relic. And we're going to go here. Oh, okay. I forgot to... do that. Myself a bit of healing. You can see Bran is taking a beating here, so... But even when he's face-tanking effectively multiple different mobs, he still can't really die. Previously, he would have fallen over way long ago. I'm really trying not to die here. Really worried about shifting into cap form here. I think I might get the cheat death. Okay, we got this. Yeah, there's the cheat death. So I actually made it there without it. But then that's fine. Alright, release spirit. And then... just need to talk to the NPC. Shit. Taking a bit of a beating here. I actually think I might just die. Oh my god. Yeah, that's not good. Definitely struggling a little bit. Doesn't help that. Yeah, this respawn point is definitely a little bit spooky. I don't think I played that super well, though. It's fine. I also did kind of blow literally every single cooldown I had on getting to the end there. I should be safer now. And again, I should note, I highly advise doing this in a group. So, you should never be in a situation where you're doing this solo. Check some regrowths. Need to shift into bear form so I don't get fucking blasted. I still did. Oh, Jesus Christ. The scaling on these things gets super duper aggressive. One of the only issues with this one is there's not a lot of room to let, or to kite here. Can I change the necrotic relic? Now that I've, Time Lost relic? Yeah, even though I've triggered the cheat death, that's honestly the kind of thing that Blizzard will probably patch later on. Oh, I forgot to jump. Okay, we're fine. Blizzard generally doesn't like it when you, something's on CD and you drop the CD. They're not a big fan of that. Really want to kite the jump order. Would really not like to fight multiple mobs. I think any are spawning directly under me, so we should be good. It's actually targeting Bran. Yeah, you can see my overall damage. Bran is hard carrying here already. It may not seem like it. You may think, wow, Bran's useless, but look at the actual damage breakdown. He does a lot. It's just that, I mean, I'm going to be honest, the tuning on Delves is garbage. These things are just not tuned to be reasonable solo content. I don't care if it says that this is meant for item level 800. It should not be doing this much insane, unavoidable damage to players through just auto attacks and stuff. It's just, like, really fucked. Alright. Let's see how challenging this ends up being. I'm gonna save Survival Instincts for the first Stinging Swarm. I think that should be fine. Still doing a lot of damage. Send a Frenzied Regen. Actually enough to trigger the idol. Yeah, that thing's super nice. Tanks so much damage for you. But you can see the auto attacks on this mob are doing very little. Compared to a lot of the other end delve bosses, this guy is not too scary. This is going to be a little bit spooky. I have CDs, though. Nice! And then Bran executes him at 5%. Okay, so now we've got into level 8. Because that was level 7, that would unlock level 8, and then you can just immediately head to the Bountiful ones and do them on 8. Ooh. Designs. Huh. Alright, nice. Leave Delve. And I will probably switch Bran's Relic. So... I don't... Do I not have engineering? Oh, I know what's happened. Oh. Fuck. It doesn't copy over your toy box onto the beta. So despite having it learned on live servers, I don't actually have the wormhole generator learned on beta. Okay. I mean, normally here I would wormhole to... you know where I could go? I think the play here is just... Because, like I said, I'm doing Waterworks next. Do this. I'll save, Hollow Fall for 3rd, because I have my Hearth set to Merildar. This takes me here, which isn't too far away. And again, this part of the run, so Dread Pit is fucking spooky, man. I think the Smashing Scarred one, you might not be able to do it as fast at the lower levels, but it's a lot more consistent, because the mobs are really easy to kill. I mean, it's still, that pales in comparison to Talkrathon, but considering this is the first time I've attempted this without the super-duper fast Talkrathon setup, I'm honestly not happy with... I think that was, like, just barely sub 20 minutes. At the very least, it was, like, around 20 minutes. Alright, Fungal, Folly, Tier 8, Bountiful. Let's rock and roll. Refresh Mark of the Wilds. Yeah, this is the Earthen Miners one. This one's not too bad. Unbreakable Iron Idol, and... yeah, let's go with Amorphous Relic for this. Because I'm not going to be able to stand still. I'm going to have to kite with Moonfire a lot. One of the other minor issues with Dread Pit there is because you're trying to avoid pulling extra mobs and you're in like such confined spaces, you can't rely quite as much on kiting with Bran. Which obviously I normally like to do that. Here, Spore Bits, you can use them to one-tap those mobs. Nice little tech. It's a little bit tricky because sometimes I'm trying to lure the Spore Bit over the mobs and Bran will just snipe the Spore Bit before it's ready. So it can get a little bit spooky. Their Brain basically did nothing. But that's because the Spore Bit did all the damage. We can jump down here. Yeah, the main reason Fungal Folly is so nasty is cast abilities, like that Spore Bolt, do insane damage. And if you don't have a reliable way to mitigate it, or enough kicks to get rid of it, it will fuck you up, even if you're a tank. So... while the final boss, as we'll see here, is basically just avoidable damage. It's, very spooky as a result. And while I was going really fast in the other ones, you'll notice now I am not going to be blitzing, because here, if I do fuck up really badly and I lose all of my lives, I mean, that's game over, then that delve is bricked. I would have to restart from the beginning. Oh my god, like that, okay. Didn't even know that was a thing. I've never gotten hit by that. I've literally never seen that do enough damage, and my gear is damaged. You can repair. This doesn't kick me out of the delve, right? As I'm saying that. Thought that would die in time. Alright, not off to a great start. But... sure you do, you fucking worthless piece of... okay. I think I got hit by that spore. I'm not sure, but I lost a huge chunk of my health. That worked out, though. I timed that well enough that it, one-shot both of those guys. I also barely missed the checkpoint here. Unlucky. Just saved a little bit of time. Oh, right, there's no... there are certain versions of this delve where there's an objective up there, so I kind of was on autopilot heading up there. But this one, there isn't. I have to immediately switch because, yeah, there's going to be these dudes. Yeah, and I should note, I am trying to, contribute. This one's especially very difficult to cheese with Bran. Oh, shit, I missed the other one. Just because there's so many casters, so you need to really kite. But I could try it, and likely it would be a little bit more effective. Gonna interrupt, nice. Yeah, that's one of the hardest parts just because it's 3 waves back to back, so you have to do it like that. I also need to refresh Mark of the Wilds. Do a A little bounce. Okay. I think I almost got baited and, died to that. That would have been really bad. We didn't. Yeah, I'm just gonna let the beast explode, as long as you're out of the way. Just gonna be nowhere. I want nothing to fucking do with that. What's interesting... Oh. Ooh, I think this is actually... This might actually be easier on live servers, because we're dealing with pre-nerf delves. Because on live servers, they fixed it so the spore bits no longer respawn. They nerfed, like, a bunch of the really annoying mechanics like that, but you can see the spore bits are respawning here. So I don't think they applied those nerfs to the beta. Yeah, there's one respawn down there, too. So that definitely, this is pre-nerf delves. The difference shouldn't be too important. Obviously, that just means that this should be even easier on live servers when you do it. Oh my god! That fucking... It just kicked a spore at me. Okay. That was fucking spooky. Can I... Hibernate? Where's Hibernate? I have Hibernate still. Or is it... That's a talent. What the hell? Fucking respawning spores. Oh my god, I look at my fucking talent window for a second. And fucking Brand just killed the fucking spore bit on top of me while I'm tapped out. This fucking asshole. Oh my god. Yeah, I mean, these are... This delve, I mean, all of the Fungarian delves were considerably scarier before those nerfs because of just the random spore bit spawning on top of you. Holy f... Oh my goodness. The nice thing about this one is it is mostly avoidable damage. But this is still a very scary one. And while it is avoidable damage, it's avoidable damage that you have to kite out, which is the only issue. Because it's like, yeah, sure, it might not make scaling quite as impactful, but it's still not easy to manage. And if I fuck up, fungal charge, gotta dodge that. Again, avoidable, but spooky. I need to clear out some of these spore bits. Let's charge in here, get some damage in. Alright. Oh, okay, wait, I didn't get hit? I must not have if I got the achievement. So, wow, the mob auto attacks in that pull earlier where I thought I got hit by a spore. That must have been what dropped my health. I guess that makes sense. I'm pretty sure at this level, if you do get hit by a spore, you just fucking die. One thing that's interesting to note, the only farmable source of Runed Harbinger crests prior to Mythic Plus is going to be... Oh my god! Okay, that's... this is new information. This is new info. I was not aware that you could skip ranks. I did a bunch of level 8 delve testing. I never managed to get a curio drop. These things are pretty fucking rare. And I did get a curio drop while testing, and it was only level 2. I don't know if that's just giga lucky. And the game's just like, here, you know, be broken. Wow. That's a really good one, too. That's like the best damage one. Okay. Man, why does this fucking happen on beta? Oh, I'm burning all my luck for live servers. Okay. Shit. Do I just fucking send that then for the remaining delves instead of the taunt one? Holy fuck. Oh, okay, so I should note, real quick, obviously, I'm not gonna do it here, Actually, you know what? Fuck it, I will do it here, because I want to make this as realistic as possible. Radiant Echoes are in Hollowfall. Okay, so we'll head to Hollowfall then. We'll do that one second. So the moment you get your first Radiant Echo, it's going to give you a quest. So if you haven't done any Bountiful Delves on that character before, which I'm assuming that you haven't, because this is aimed at people trying to optimize their character, so it's going to give you a quest version of it. I don't think I actually have the quest. I suspect that the quest might be once per account, and I've already done it on my account, because I did a bunch of delves on alts. So I think... Yeah, I technically don't have the quest. And if you did some delves and alts, which I recommended on one of my videos, then this one is easier. I should know. It doesn't make a huge difference. But you want to do your first Worldsoul one, because the very first Radiant Echo you do is a quest item. And you have to do one Radiant Echo to clear that quest, and if you don't do that, then you will not be able to receive additional Radiant Echoes from doing delves, because every single time it'll try to give you the quest item version of the Radiant Echo, and it will fail because you can't have duplicates. So you need to do the quest, and then it lets you get the regular version of the item, which will stack up multiple times. So we'll do this. Fuck it. It'll technically add 5 minutes to the time, but I figure this will make it a little bit more accurate. And this is going to be pretty chill and easy, though, because these mobs don't, scale or anything. There technically is a hard mode version of this, but in order to unlock the hard mode, you have to have completed every single version of these world events once. So there's 2 of these in each zone, and they are on a daily rotation. So, right now, it's in Hollowfall. Tomorrow, it's going to be in Ashgahet. And most likely on Tuesday, so North American Weekly Reset, it is going to be in Isle of Dorn. And then if you do all 8 of them, so both of them in each zone, then you will, you'll get an achievement, and that achievement will let you select the hard mode difficulty. If you go back 30 seconds, you can see it on the window when I activated this. There's 3 different modes. There's the one that I'm doing, which is just you spend 1 Radiant Echo, you activate it, you're good to go. That one you have to do the very first time you do this, because that's the only option for the quest. And then for future ones, you can save up 5 Radiant Echoes, and you can spend 5 of them at once. And what that does is you only need to do this once, and you basically 5x your rewards from the Radiant Memory thing, or Worldsoul Vision, whatever it's called. Effectively, you get 5 times... you get the rewards for doing 5 Radiant Echoes, and you only have to run it once. So it just saves you a lot of time if you're trying to burn through them in one sitting, which I think is a really nice time saver mechanic, because imagine having to do this to burn through, multiple different echoes in a single day. So actually, after this initial Worldsoul Vision, do not do any of these on the first day. Because you're going to use your first one from your first Bountiful Delve, and then you're going to do 3 more Bountiful Delves, and you're going to end up with a total of 3 by the end of day 1, because you can only do 4 Bountiful Delves per day. And then on day 2, you're going to get 4 more, so that'll put you at a total of 7, and then you can spend 5 of those on a single one of these. That'll save you time. You only have to do it once, and then just 5x your rewards. You should also always do this in a group. Obviously, I'm on the beta. I don't have a group to run with, so, duh. But... you can do this with other people. It's actually an open world event, so if there's other non-grouped people here, they can help you out with it. And there's been a few times when I was testing this on live servers on some of the alts that I actually did Bountiful Delves with, and every now and then, another player would stop by while I was doing these Worldsoul memories, and it was extremely fast with another person to help kill mobs. I would say, honestly, with 2 to 3 people, you can kill mobs fast enough to maximize your score, because the mobs spawn on a set timer. It's not like the faster you kill things, the more it spawns and the more score you get, and scales infinitely. At a certain point, you are going to just kill mobs before the next important thing respawns. You technically can run around and kill these little guys for 1 point per, but 1 point is not going to make a notable difference in terms of how much of a refund you get. Because maybe I didn't say that, maybe you have absolutely no idea what this is. The way that I've been describing it to people, I think it's a good way to visualize it. This is like a bonus stage after you do a Bountiful Delve. You go in here, you kill as much mobs as you can, there's this score at the top. Depending on how well you score, you'll get a partial refund of coffer key shards for the key that you spent to get this Radiant Echo. On average, it gives you anywhere from like 20 to 25 coffer key shards, so you can effectively look at this as a 1/5 to 1/4 full refund, or partial refund, I mean, of whatever key that you spend to get this Echo. So that means if you have 5 keys in total, you technically have 6 keys, because you'll be able to use those 5 keys to get back 20 coffer key fragments for each one of the Radiant Echoes that you earn, and then that will give you a 6th key that you can then spend afterwards. So you probably actually have more key fragments available, or coffer keys available to you on live servers than you realize, because you'll be able to get a bunch of free coffer shards after you finish your actual Bountiful Delves. It's like not a super interesting mechanic, I gotta say. I don't find it to be super fun content, but I will give Blizzard some credit. It's a neat idea. I like the idea of like a bonus stage that lets you get a partial refund. I do kind of think it would be cooler if your skill actually mattered, because, I mean, I got 25 coffer key shards, and I can tell you right now, I scored like 30 less points than I did the last time I did this on live servers, like just earlier today. And I also got 25 coffer key shards when I got like 30 additional points. So the rewards don't scale directly proportional to your actual score. I think there's like a cutoff point where if you get X amount of points, you get 25 coffer key shards, and then if you get, I don't know, 30, 40 more points beyond that, you get 1 additional shard. Which is kind of what I mean when I say, like, it doesn't feel rewarding. And I tried getting, like, I think I got 30 points. I did basically nothing, and I still got 20 shards. So there's, like, a minimum guaranteed refund, and there seems to be a cap on how much you can actually get back, which I think is kind of lame. I do think it would be pretty cool if, like, if you came in here with a group of 5 and you blasted this thing, just absolutely destroyed it. If you get like a 50% refund, that would be really cool. That would reward you for performing better in the bonus stage. But right now, it's just, I mean, honestly, if you didn't really care that much, you could literally enter, go AFK, and you'd probably still get a good amount of shards back. I don't know the exact number. But okay, we've gotten that done. Now we head to Fungal Folly. Yeah, we're still going to want to do it on tier 8. There is no advantage to doing tier 9, 10, or 11. That is purely for cosmetic rewards. And, like, if you want to, you could go ahead and do them later on in the season, but I would not advise doing them now. It sucks that we got 2 mushroom delves. Oh, man. Oh, don't die. Woo. Yeah, you can see Bran is super tanky. Like, he took a direct hit to a spore from a spore bit, and let's kill the spore bit. One tap these mobs. Yeah. I do kind of like that when the spore bits aren't respawning on top of your head. The idea that you can effectively use the spore bits to clear out waves of enemies and save a lot of time, I think that's pretty cool. But it's definitely very spooky. Okay, so as I mentioned before, it's also kind of awkward because they're respawning, so I could technically use them over and over to detonate mobs, but on live servers, they don't have that behavior. Oh, Bran. Bran! It didn't actually wipe anything out. But yeah, as I said, Mycomancer Cavern, every single one of them is pretty slow. This one, you have to interact with a bunch of pigs. It's also... This one's very RNG. Even if you get perfect RNG, it's still pretty slow. But... Okay, I've actually gotten very lucky. When you interact with one of the 10 pigs, they have a chance to become hostile, or they have a chance to, Okay, let's detonate the spore bit. Come on, come on, come on! Oh! Got all of them. Alright, fucking easy. Okay, that feels good. Ah, we got our first hostile pig. And I did this earlier today on live servers, and 8 out of 10 of the pigs became hostile. And if that happens, yeah, that fucking sucks. It's pretty big time loss. Please, Bran, please don't fucking kill the spore bit. Please, Bran, you fucking asshole! Oh my god. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, Bran, fuck you. Fuck you, you're the absolute fucking worst. Oh my god. Yeah, so of course, we're getting pre-nerf delves with the most impactful nerf out of any of the ones they've done being the Spore Bit change in all of the Fungarian ones. Oh, thank God I killed it before it exploded again. And I have two of them. Two of them are the fucking Bountiful Delves that I need to do. So just to give you an idea, this is going to be significantly easier when you do it. Like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, what is doing that? Did Bran really just immediately snipe it? I think he's the one doing it. I don't think I have any passive damage. I didn't have brambles up or anything. Fuck. Okay, I need to drag the Spore Bin in here. Come on, come on, come on. Yes! Okay, that's making this a lot easier. Honestly, these ones will probably be pretty good when you don't need to constantly deal with them respawning on top of you. One and done, detonate a pack. This actually is making it pretty efficient. Fuck you, Bran, fuck you, Bran, fuck you, Bran, fuck you, Bran, fuck you, Bran. Can I travel for him in here? No. So slow fall would be pretty good. Actually, this is a good stealth angle. But you could slow fall, basically jump across that gap, land here, skip those mobs. You do need to jump down here. I put it on top of the Spore Bit. Nice! Did I pull any of the other stuff? No? Oh, that's not what I meant to press. Let's get that kick. Get that Spore Bit in here. Nice! I hit the stolen loader. Those fucking mushroom people, they fucking hit hard. I had to pop survival instincts there just to not die to autos. It's not die to that. Okay, got it. Nice. Yeah, I would say this is above average pig RNG. Most of them have been friendly. Don't fuck me, Bran. Don't fuck me, Bran. Don't fuck me, Bran. Bran, fuck me. I think we're fine, though. And... am I running the... I think I'm still running the idol. Yeah, I'm still running the idol. I haven't seen it pop too much. Maybe it has, and I just haven't noticed. I figure this is probably still safer than running the crit one. I mean, imagine you get the 50% crit bonus one when running in a group of 5, so, like, you don't even need the taunt, though. That would... oh, that would spice up your day 1 delve clears. That would be fucking sick. Let's just get these 2 guaranteed. Alright. Bran, don't snipe it, don't snipe it. Let it get over here. Let it get over here. I want to kill it. Come on. Yeah. Nice, Bran with a kill shot. And for whatever reason, sometimes Bran's overall stops showing up, or Bran's damage stops showing up in your details overall. I don't know why. Wow, really good pig RNG. This is one of the most annoying parts of this delve. It can either be super... like, holy shit! At that time, the vast majority of them were friendly. Sometimes that happens, and it's just like... I wouldn't necessarily say that was fast, but that was actually not terrible. And then sometimes they all decide to be hostile, and it's just a fucking nightmare. Oh, fuck, he's doing a charge. He's doing a charge. I think I sniped him with that. Oh my god, I did. Okay, I missed that kick. Shit. This one's really spooky. Summons a million spores. Does some pulsing AoE. It's not that bad, because most of the... I need to be close by. Yeah. Bran got that interrupt. I hope that Bran didn't snipe my kick, and then I won't have it up from when I need it. Spore Song. And this boss fight is fucking bonkers. I'm gonna drop Ratchet Axe. to charge so I can get the kick, because he always does it after. Yeah, Swamp Bolts. Okay. Whew. That's kind of spicy. See, I have said many times, fights like that, obviously that's even harder because of the bug spore bits. That actually, like, that's the only time in Delves where I feel something. Honestly, killing the stuff with the spore bits is actually kind of fucking sick. I had fun doing that. Okay, nice cloak. Yeah, that's something I can use. That's actually a solid upgrade. Cool. And you can note that here I did not get a Bran upgrade, so it's not guaranteed. You don't always get a Bran upgrade. In fact, it's pretty rare. So the fact that during the first Bountiful Delve I did, I got the best possible epic Bran upgrade is like, man, that is some stupid levels of RNG that I can only hope to achieve on live servers. I forgot to leave Delve again. Yeah, like I said, I'm still getting used to that. Alright. But during those really hard boss fights, like, I feel something. I'm like, oh man, this is fun. I like it. I wish that's what Delves were. Honestly, I wish Delves were all like... If I could rework Delves, I would make them like puzzle-based stuff, where it's kind of like a bunch of different mini-games that don't necessarily involve combat. And I think there should be an option that you can like press, I want to skip the puzzles, I just want to kill shit. And then the Delves are effectively what they are now. You just kill a bunch of mobs. But if you want to do the puzzle, it could be like a rather complicated puzzle like the World Quest stuff. I mean, you could even do it like a really difficult Bejeweled game, or the little new pipe system. Like, imagine if Waterworks was just, you had to do the pipe minigame multiple times, and that's like the entire thing. But then at the end of it, after you do the minigame, maybe you fight like a few mobs, but not a ton, and most of them have avoidable mechanics, then you get the boss fights. Because the boss fights, by and large, some of them kind of suck, but a lot of them are really cool. Like that one, where you have the fucking exploding spore bits that are chasing you down. It's mostly avoidable damage. The Fungal Folly one, I don't love that delve, but the final boss, also pretty cool. I really like those fights. I think they did a great job with a lot of the end boss fights. Some of them are kind of stinkers, but most of them are good. And then the really cool end boss fights are just watered down by the rest of Delves, which is just nothing content. You are just grinding your way through packs of enemies, pressing one or two buttons, interacting with a few objects. You're basically doing a really boring quest and dealing with overtuned mobs like you would in any Mythic Plus dungeon. Oh, heh. Look at that. Takath is spawning on the beta. Huh. That's a rare mob mounts. Or a rare mob that drops a quest item that starts him out if you're unfamiliar with it. I've actually never seen him as he's spawning. I've heard people say that he spawns by flying in from the Rhubarb Palace, and then he like flies over the city and lands right around there. I've actually never seen the fly-in thing. So I always just took people's word for that. But now I got to see it in person, which is kind of cool. You know what? Let's try the super fucking giga OP porcelain idol. I just want to see how broken this feels. I feel like it would be dumb if I got that and then didn't use it. I don't know if I mentioned this, but none of my gear is like enchanted. You can obviously see for yourself that I'm not using consumes or anything like that. So in addition to this not being a super geared character, it's maybe worth noting that I would say you could probably grab some solid consumes before you get started on your delves. Maybe even grab some like really cheap enchants. They can make a big difference. I mean, I don't even have like Dragonflight enchants on here, which still would make a very small difference. But we're going in here, we're raw dogging these delves. So if I can do it, well, I would say if I can do it, you can too. You might be a rogue. If you're a rogue, I'm sorry. You know, yeah, life is a challenge as a rogue. But for everybody else, most other specs, you're probably fine. Okay, so this is an interesting one. This, I would actually say, is maybe one of the faster versions of Underkeep. Especially because the Vials of Black Blood, once you start one of these things, so I'm just going to kill one of them, it effectively causes a chain reaction that just destroys a bunch of them. So I'm going to wait for it to get into a good position, and then we're just going to deal with these oozes. And then eventually the Scroll Bearer, which is the only mob that we need... fuck it. It's only going to pull 1 or 2 mobs. Okay, I got the, I'm just going to do this. I pulled the Zekbeer guys on the side. I think Bran fucking pulled those extra mobs. We're fine, though. I was hoping to do this without using Lunar Beam or any big CDs, but fuck it. Yeah, and you don't need to kill every single container of black blood, so I'm not going to waste my time doing that. Because, again, if I kill 1 of those, it's only going to get me 3. But there's a lot of other areas where you kill a single black blood container, and it chain reacts into detonating, like, 10 of them. So you just kill 1, and then you just let them explode. And you're just getting passive credit for detonating all of the containers. So we kill 1 of these, and then we kill the Scroll Bearer. And I don't even need to worry about killing the rest of those, because they're just going to blow up on their own. It is a little bit spooky, because as you can see here, every time it detonates, it summons an ooze. The oozes don't do a lot of damage, but obviously, on level 8, they can be a little bit overwhelming sometimes. And Scroll drops in the trap. Let's grab this for you, Bran, while we're at it. There you go. Yeah, so we'll do this one here. There's enough here that this will give me a good chain reaction. Maybe a bunch of black blood containers. Alright. And we'll do it here. There's enough here, I'd say. And tag the Scroll Bearer while I'm at it. It's not near anything else. Gonna drop the Lunar Beam, because the next few pulls aren't very difficult until the boss, and Lunar Beam should be back up by the time the boss is dead. Or we pulled the boss. There's a chest over there. Do I want it? Yeah, I'd say so. Especially because I don't think there's any mobs nearby. Ooh. Yeah, that barrier is actually pretty good. Oh, Bran actually sniped one of the ones on the other end. Okay, then I don't even need to worry about it. They'll all blow up on their own. So here there are 4 that you want to get. Or, 3 that you want to get. You want to get... Yep. Alright, wow. Oh my god, look at that! Yeah, see when I said Bran sometimes pops the fuck off? Look at him just eviscerating those containers. This is a little bit awkward, though. This is one where I'm going to use stealth here. So we're actually just going to run through these. It's going to detonate all of these containers. Wow, it actually blew up in their faces. And then... I'm going to detonate this. And all I need to do... I don't want to get too close and pull those mobs. Just keep doing this. And maybe Bran will decide to help me out with these. Just tap Moonfire. Okay, perfect. So I got into stealth. That's not going to stop the Black Bloods from locking onto me. Oh my god. Okay. That plan backfired. The trap activated, or broke my stealth. It's fine. I should be able to handle this. I think if I were to change talents, I might want stuns to better survive some of these caster mobs. I can just grip a health pot here. God, yeah, some of these casters. We're good. So what I was trying to do there before I got tagged by that frost trap and popped out of stealth, I should have just hugged the wall instead of trying to thread the needle. I was trying to go into stealth. That way I could sneak past the big guy. I think he might have had True Sight, though, so that might not even work. Either way. Doesn't matter. We lived it. We're good. This boss is interesting. You want to start him off by the edge. Okay, shit. What's that do? Just movement speed reduction. Yeah, this boss is... It's one of those weird ones where, again, it technically doesn't do a lot of damage. You might see me taking a lot of damage, but I'm not playing this super well. It's because it has tons of avoidable stuff. But also, I'm getting hit by a lot of the avoidable stuff. Because it is a clusterfuck of mechanics. Pick it in time. I believe those swirlies one-shot. This, when I mentioned earlier that when I tested on beta, Bran caused me to get one-shot when I was using that one where he, like, picks you up and throws you. It wasn't this version of this boss. He has, like, multiple different variants. There's a version of him with, like, a bunch of poison beams and poison swirlies, and as I was trying to carefully maneuver around like that to dodge the beams, a poison swirly goes out. Bran says, you know, head over here, immediately picks me up, chucks me into the poison swirly, and I got one shot. And that was like towards the end of the boss fight, so that was really annoying. Ooh. Ooh, okay, that's spicy. Wait, that's veteran warbound until equipped. Oh, okay. So that means that if you do Bountiful Delves on alts on level 8, and that wasn't even from the key chest, you can sometimes just get warbound veteran pieces. So I could theoretically just do all of my delves, funnel them over to my main if I get... I mean, obviously, right now I'm playing either monk or druid. So no matter what, I'm maining a leather class. So that wouldn't be good for me. But that's still interesting. This trinket fucking dog water. Unlucky. So, yeah, that's... Effectively, I got loot so far from 2 out of 3 of my Bountiful Delves. At least loot that I can use. At the very least, if I were to get this, that would still be a trinket slot that I can upgrade. So I'm gonna... I have another video planned. It's not going to be the delve video, but I'm going to have a what to do week 1, like all the important things. And one of the things I'm going to talk about is do delves first, get your guaranteed champion pieces, then target M0s. So for me, the most important thing that I need to target is Necrotic Wake. Which boss is it? It's, yeah, this thing. Bottled Flayedwing Toxin. This trinket is super good. It's like BIS for the vast majority of agility players. So I need to get that. I've gone like a little bit on the well, that's maybe a little bit of an understatement. I've gone giga tryhard, considering I'm not like in a race to world first guild, but I do care a lot about my performance and I hate RNG. So I've leveled up 5 different brewmasters. I only have 1 Guardian because basically my Guardian Druid is a backup. So I have geared up this character enough because if we end up in a situation where, oh my god, Boomkin is so fucking awful that we just need a Druid buff, which my raid leader was like, probably try to get 1 Guardian prepped just in case. We don't think it's going to be that bad, but I at least have Guardian in case we need Mark of the Wilds. But it's like 90% certain that I'm going to be playing Brewmaster, and I don't want to be in a situation where day 1... I get none of the good Brewmaster loot that I need. I get bricked loot from Delves. I get nothing off the world boss. I don't get anything from my M0s, and I'm walking in there with just shit gear. That I do not want to have happen. So I am making sure that I'm getting everything I possibly can, or doing everything I can by getting 5 Brewmasters prepped. That way, even if one of them gets shit loot, I still have another 4 to potentially get all the loot from. Okay. I do want to change talents. This Waterworks boss is fucking spooky. Huh? Oh, right, because Okay, then I want improved survival instincts. What can I drop for it? These are all really good damage talents. Ugh. It's like, I want to drop that, but also I can't really, because it's in the way.
That device keeps us safe from the poison. Hold on to it.
Don't need that. Probably Guardian Balloon for solo is better here. I'm basically just taking out all of my greedy damage talents and going full send single target. I think I'd take... yeah, Rend and Tear. Get a bit more DR in there. Scintillating Moonlight's really nice. I don't think I need Raise, honestly. I think the hardest parts of this are going to be single target. Ursox Fury I don't think is good enough to justify taking here. I think Scintillating Moonlight will give me a lot of defensive value. I like that. Stole the Forest. The problem is Reinvigoration just doesn't really do enough to justify losing that much damage. I think this is good. Do I lose too much? I think I'm fine dropping Moonless Night just to take another 10% DR. I cannot stress how fucking hard this final boss is. Be fine. Should be fine. Yeah, I don't think like any of these make a noticeable difference. What about here? Healing you receive, that seems pretty good. Mangle critical strike damage. So we'll put that into natural recovery. I don't think... Yeah, I don't think anything else here will really make a huge difference in terms of my survivability against that final boss. Nature's Vigil maybe a little bit, but I think we're good. I really kind of want to take... I can't lose... Can't lose that. I really want to take Improved Survival Instincts, though, if I'm being honest. But I think I should be fine. I think if I Lunar Beam, if I, like, use Survival Instincts for 1, which should have me covered, it's gonna be really tough, though. This is not gonna be a fucking easy delve to do. Is there anything that I can take here? I might honestly... That just gives you fucking nothing. Yeah, I don't think like any of this does nearly enough. I think I just need to go for more damage. This is actually pretty good. Because for the final boss, you're kind of confined to a relatively small area anyway. Because you can't really move too much because of the totem. You're basically locked inside of your air totem. So, as a result, if one of them procs, I can't, like, really kite a ton. And this is why, by the way, this is one of the 2 Waterworks ones that I said is pretty fast. Because here, you can skip most of the trash. You just get the earthen workers, and then you immediately move on to the next room. There's another one with, you have to kill kobolds and stomp on the ground to get gears off of their body. And that one ends up being relatively fast. Just because you can basically do a big pull in one area, pop all your CDs, get like half the gears you need, skip a lot of the extra trash, go into the next room, repeat. And that way you're not pulling any, like, unnecessary stuff. So you can see here, my damage has kind of fallen off. I did just drop a lot of my big damage talents. But I'm not going to be doing much. The overall damage here is not going to be decreased by any significant amount. Bran is going to be carrying, but yeah, Bran's not showing up in overall. But I can assure you he did the bulk of the damage there. Okay, I need to drop that. I'm going to pull these guys. You can drop your air totem. And you should be doing that whenever possible. Because you don't want to... Every time you move, it consumes it. Even small steps like this will consume a little bit of it. So if you know that you're going to be in a small area like this, it's just good to drop your thing. You can even run outside of it. You don't want to fight outside of it. But if you're doing a quick thing like this, run out, let the stacks drop. And then I'm going to pick this up. I actually do really like this power-up. This will give me a considerable damage bonus. I'm also going to drop my totem again. Should be using Thrash, my bad. But that's how you want to approach the final boss fight, by the way. You'll see when I'm there. You try to get your totem at, like, the maximum size. You drop it. And then you just play within your totem. And you fight along the edges because the final boss has an area denial mechanic. Yeah, Bran isn't doing a whole lot here. This is also a stronger mob. And, yeah, we still have the fucked hitboxes on beta, unfortunately. Yeah, I'm going to drop my air totem. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to drop it again. Nice, this should kill a bunch of them. It didn't one-tap them. It did do a lot of damage. I don't know why it didn't show up. Bran did a lot of damage. His Griffin form is pretty good. Yeah, Bran dropping that right outside of the air thing. I'm gonna talk to the Urban. And then I'm gonna stealth real quick, pick up the new totem. Just refresh my fuel, and then ignore the other packs. You'll notice, by the way, I haven't talked about this, but Zekthir is the big dude, the final boss of Delves. He's empowering these mobs. It's random which packs get empowered. It's not a massive difference. Really, it's kind of... Whichever mobs get empowered, it's hit or miss. Because if it's empowering, like, little bats like that, those mobs are not impactful at all. You don't need to worry about them. But if it's empowering a pack that's already really dangerous without the Zekthir thing, then that can actually get really spooky really fast. And starting from tiers 9 to 11, so the ones that don't actually give you any... Well, I think they might give you gear, but I don't know if they... Or they're mostly there for cosmetics. At that level, you'll start to get these Zekthir lieutenants, and the lieutenants are really fucking spooky. They're not fun. Okay, here, yeah, you can see a little bit of an awkward thing. The randomly empowered pack happens to be the one that Zekthir is on. Okay. Yeah, that wasn't even my cooldowns. Bran just deleted that. My details isn't showing him right now for some reason. That was all him. I'm just gonna preemptively pull this in case he does it. Yeah, you can see the little arrows. That's his volley that's doing so much damage. Let's get out of here before that big kobold finds us. The big kobolds are actually kind of spooky. It's also random sometimes which mobs you encounter. Every now and then, I've done this one, and there's, like, a bunch of bigger mobs in this section. Alright. Here's what we've been training for. This boss fight is rough. This one is really rough. Okay. Thank you. That doesn't help me. So I'm gonna grab the bonus totem before I try to fight him. Here's what I'm going to try to do as well. I don't know if this is going to work. I'm going to drop my totem right here. It gives me the maximum size. I wonder if I can LOS his big AoE. So, like, theoretically, if I'm tanking him there and I run here, I should be LOS'd. And there's a lot of mechanics that do get negated by LOS. I've never tried this. I just healed through it on my monk. We'll see. When you pull him, he should immediately drop a poison patch at his location. Whew, here we go. Okay, he didn't immediately drop it. Oh my god, look at Bran. Look at Bran go. Dude, Bran is fucking cranking him. Okay, yeah, thank you, Bran. Thank you for that. That really helps me, Bran. That helps me so fucking much. Burn away, this is the one. Okay, first I'm gonna face tank this. Wait, this, like, doesn't hurt at all. I mean, I had survival instincts. Okay, I think Brewmaster's insane damage intake has kind of baited me into thinking that this boss is a lot harder than it is. Either that, or Brad is just... Look at him go! This is not me. I wish I could take credit for how much damage this mob is taking right now, but this is all Bran. Oh, I shifted out of bear form. Oh, no, 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 no. Okay, I take it back. That, yeah, that's, not nearly as hard as I thought it would be. I hyped that up for nothing. That was fucking easy. Yeah, Bran's damage now isn't showing up on my details. I don't know why. Can I check, like... enemy damage taken. Okay, but how do I... Oh, I should... let's do this and then stop the timer. Okay, nothing. And what do I get from this? Ooh, snap! Alright, we're stopping the timer. Wow. Man! Ah, these are like my two favorite relics! Why the fuck do I get the epic versions on beta? You're kidding me. Well, at least now we know that you can get really lucky. Oh, man. Okay, look, look, look. I got 2 capes. And there's unfortunately no bad luck protection in Delves. This is another reason why, I've said this many times, I think that the RNG and pre-raid gearing in War Within is, like, kind of crazy. I really don't understand why gearing can't be more deterministic in this game. It's a little bit sucky. Because now, what the fuck am I going to do with the second cape? If this happens to you on live servers, that's going to feel really bad. They also both have haste, which I don't care about on Bear, but like on Brewmaster Monk, that would be really bad. You hate haste. So, can I see how much damage the mob took? No, that's my damage taken. Enemy damage taken is what I'm trying to see. Shit. I guess it damage taken by spell. Yeah, you can definitely see that it kind of hurt. I think Brewmaster just is a lot squishier than I thought. Yeah. I guess it says that the enemy took... Oh, actually, there's one way that we can look. The enemy took 55.8 million damage in total, and I only did 11.6 million. So what's the math on that? let's just bust out my calculator real quick. 55.88, so that would be what? 11.67 over 55.88 equals x over 100. 11.67 times 100 equals divided by 55.88. Bran, yeah, wow. Bran did 79% of my overall. Damn. Okay. I am doing that math right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm doing that math right. Yeah, that checks out. Wait, actually, that math is a lot simpler than I realized. It's 11 and then 55. That pretty easily translates into 1/5, roughly. It's technically 21% I did to the boss. But just to give you an idea of how much damage Bran does. So I've seen so many people saying, Bran is useless, Bran is worthless, and I jokingly call Bran useless. And Bran sometimes does a bit of trolling by killing spore bits on top of you. Like, you know, he's kind of fucking dumb a lot of the time. But Bran's a bit of a fucking cranker, man. He's doing crazy damage to Waxface over here. So, don't sleep on my boy Bran. But yeah, I think that covers everything. So obviously, as you can see, from the time it took me to start running those delves, and this isn't even the best setup, you could easily get this done in under an hour, both if you're in a group, if you have more gear, if you are getting the Talkrathon delve, I was, I think, averaging, what, 4.5 minutes for all 4 of those clears, maybe a little bit longer towards the end, like closer to 5 minutes. And that's the thing, on the, like, the best times that you can really hope for delves are, like, 3.5 ballpark to 5 minutes. That's the golden period of this is a fast delve. And then the Talkrathon Pheromone one is just fucking way out in the lead at, you can get 2-minute clears. 2-minute clears, 2 minutes 30 with the other one, or on higher levels, I mean. And I would say maybe Talkrathon Mech Suit is probably the next best, just because of how easy the final Talkrathon boss is. And Talkrathon Mech Suit is maybe about a 4-minute delve. So 4 minutes with a pretty easy final fight. I think it's not too bad. I would say that one, like, that technically is up, so I actually could have done that instead of Dread Pit. Again, the reason I chose Dread Pit is because that was still pretty fast, and that one I am 99% confident at least that delve will be up on Tuesday. It won't be Bountiful. And I don't know exactly which the two it's going to be. They're both fine. The Kobold one is maybe like a 5.5 minute delve. It's not terrible. It's just a little bit slower than the rest. And Smashing Skardan is about the same speed as this. Smashing Skardan, though, I think you kind of need to just plow your way through. So Smashing Skardan would be a little bit easier in a group where you're just doing it normally and just blasting through it and not doing death skips. And doing the other one, what's it called? The gem one, obviously, I kind of ran past the lot to grab the gems. You know, the final thing that I will show, might as well while we're here, can't hurt, is I said that earlier I was going to test to see if the death counter carries over. So first you can just leave delve, saves time. I've been forgetting to do that a few times, but that is faster. And, it's, you know, fuck it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the recording real quick, and I'm going to check that, because I just realized on my other accounts, I would still... Actually, maybe I don't. Maybe I don't. Let me double check my second account. Because I do have another account that I actually have a level 80 character on the leveling servers, which is where I am right now. Because I did a Fury Warrior test run on beta servers before the expansion came out, and that character is still level 80. So I could do a 2-person delve, and then we'd be able to see how the death counter interacts with multiple players. Because if the death counter does not increase if you have multiple people, then... Oh, right, no, this was my Windwalker test run. My Prot Warrior, or Fury Warrior test run is on my other account. So technically, I actually have 3 level 80 characters spread across multiple accounts that I could test on the beta for something if I wanted to. Let me mute the audio on my other accounts. And where am I headed? I guess Waterworks is the northernmost. I'm just gonna go down the core way. It's faster. So I'll just fly down on my alt account. I can't remember if I actually increased my delves on this account. I might not have. I think on this account I actually don't have any delves done. So I'll double check, and then I might need to pause the recording and get my delve level up to 4. And that way we can test. Actually, I think on one of my accounts I do have level 4 delves. We'll check. Again, I could just pause the recording here, but I figure, fuck it. We're at the end of a 2-hour video. You know. It's easier this way. Saves me editing time, because the less time that I have to spend editing, the more time that I can spend working on the actual video, the normal one, and get that out to you guys sooner. Can't fit through the dumb door. Yeah, I did a tier 1 delve as part of the campaign. I'm gonna exit game. I think my other account, my third account. I'll pause the recording here and I'll just